Now, It Follows is the latest horror movie written and directed by David Robert Mitchell. Now, It Follows is about how a young girl has a sexual encounter and now an unknown force follows her, and the only way to get it from stop following her is to pass it on to another sexual encounter. Now look, I'm not the biggest horror movie fan out there of today's movies. I like the older horror movies like Halloween, The Thing, Alien, because they are more original and more entertaining and fun. Now, today's horror movies, they're a little bit more lazy because they overly use jump scares. Now, with It Follows, it has its jump scares, but it uses its jump scares effectively. It's not overly done, and it's not overly used. And what I like about that is the fact that what David Robert Mitchell did with this movie is the fact that he uses jump scares, but he doesn't do it where it's oh, it's going to happen there, it's going to happen there. He uses it where you think it's going to happen there, but it doesn't. It has jump scares where you don't expect it. And when he does it, he doesn't overly do it. He doesn't overly do it where it's like, okay, you got a jump scare there, you got a jump scare there, let's keep on using it. No. He has one jump scare and changes it up in every different scene. And I like that because for horror movie directors, when you get one jump scare, okay, they said, oh, that's scary, let's keep on doing it again. And when you do that, the audience gets kind of jaded by the jump scares. And when that happens, you don't really get scared by the scene or by the movie as a whole, because now when you use the jump scares, now it's like, okay, it's expected now. But with It Follows, it does that really, really good. Now, while watching this movie throughout, it reminded me a lot of John Carpenter's Halloween and John Carpenter's The Thing, because sometimes things are scarier when they are not seen. And It Follows has a lot of that type of atmosphere. You didn't know what was coming at you at certain points. And it's not all up in your face. It's like, oh, you know, that's a scary monster, that's scary. No. Things are more scarier when they are not seen. And I think he did an effective job at doing that. And the reason why I say it reminds me of The Thing and Halloween is because this creature or this unknown force can take shape of anything. So you don't know when it's coming or when it's not coming. And that's what gives a good balance of the things unseen and things seen. And it has a great balance of doing that because you don't know when it's going to come at next. And that's where the jump scares are effectively used, like I said before, because when you don't know when something's coming, that's what makes it more effective. And that's why I think David Mitchell did a good job at blending those elements together, making it an effective tool for a decent horror movie. And another reason why I compare this movie to John Carpenter's The Thing or Halloween especially, is because the score in this movie is fantastic. It's very catchy and it's very scary, because what John Carpenter did for Halloween is the fact that the score added to the suspense. And in It Follows, it does the same exact thing, because the score builds to the suspense of the movie, and it adds more of a horror element to it as well. What I like about this movie too is the fact that even though it has sex as its plot line, where the girl has to have sex to pass it along so it can stop following her, it doesn't overly utilize it or stylize it like horror movies do today, because horror movies today just say, okay, let's have sex here, let's have sex there, just for the heck of it. That's why I think It Follows is original, because even though you have sex as part of your plot line, it's not highly used as a main motivational force to move the story along. It uses other elements to help build the movie, like suspense, like the score, like the jump scares. And that's why I think David Robert Mitchell did a good job, because he took other elements into the movie and mix it up together where you're not dependent on just sex alone. That's why I think It Follows is an effective horror movie, because even though it has sex to it, it's not the main focal point. Now, this movie is not the scariest movie I've seen in years, but this movie is very suspenseful, has a great score, and used jump scares effectively. And that's why I think it makes it a good horror movie, at least better than the ones I've seen today. And I think David Robert Mitchell did a nice job of channeling his inner John Carpenter and other horror movies from the 80s and 70s, making an effective horror movie that's not cliche or redundant. Now, the only flaw I would have with this movie is the fact that there are some times where I felt it wanted to end, but it didn't. But other than that, that's kind of like a minor nitpick. But It Follows is a nice horror movie with a great score, creepiness, and a lot of suspense. So with that being said, I'm going to give It Follows a good strong 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoy old horror movies from the 80s and 70s and maybe even 90s, I think you would definitely enjoy this. So guys, if you've seen It Follows, comment below and let me know what you guys think of it. As always guys, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.